All right, so I wanted to do a quick video because it is December 31st, Tuesday, right now, and the new Congress starts on January 3rd, which is this coming Friday. Now, before Congress can do anything, before they can start legislating, before they can start doing any policy work, they have to elect a Speaker of the House, which means that Mike Johnson, who's currently the forerunner right now, needs to secure a majority of those votes. But the catch is that he's not a very popular kind of guy. So he's going to need to have a lot more support from the rank and file GOP, especially those on the far right. And so I figured we can go ahead and look at that dynamic, what that looks like, and some of the challenges that Johnson's going to have to overcome as we get closer and closer to Friday. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, there's some good reporting on this from Politico. We're looking here from Olivia Beavers, and what she is saying is that Chip Roy, who is one of the conservative members on the far right within the GOP and from Texas, is conducting temperature checks to determine the viability of a number of different candidates, including Jim Jordan, who, as we all know, is the head of the Judiciary Committee and is not a huge fan of Mike Johnson, even though he's supported him in the past. And so what we're seeing is folks going in the background, asking their colleagues whether or not that they are interested in becoming speaker, just in case Johnson doesn't have the number of votes, because quite frankly, there's not a whole lot of support for Johnson within the GOP right now. But we see here that Johnson does have the endorsement from President Trump. Now, President-elect Donald Trump endorsed Mike Johnson on Monday, delivering critical support after the continuing resolution and conservative members continue to fuel doubts about his bid. Trump said he will do the right thing, speaking about Mike Johnson, and he will continue to win. He has his total and complete endorsement. I mean, and that's a pretty big endorsement, right? Having Donald Trump who's obviously the kingmaker in many of these situations, having him in your corner really does add a number of different things. Another person that actually endorsed Mike Johnson, at least for now, is Elon Musk. He posted on X that he has his full support. So having those two in the corner really, I think, helps. But there's still a lot of folks that are going to be a little hesitant to vote and at least publicly voice their support for Johnson at this point. And there's two people specifically. One is Representative Massey, and Massey, however, doubled down on his opposition to Johnson as Speaker after Trump's endorsement. I respect and support President Trump, but his endorsement of Mike Johnson is going to work out about as well as his endorsement of Speaker Paul Ryan. We've seen Johnson partner with Democrats to send money to Ukraine, authorize spying on Americans, and blow the budget. Now, this is a big thing because Massey, even though he's one person, Johnson only can stand to lose a handful of votes going into this speaker race on Friday. Now, on Friday, if nothing else changes or no crazy things happen from left field, you're going to have 219 conservatives and 215 Democrats. And remember that the speaker race isn't a plurality, it's about the majority. So if they have 219 conservatives, 215 Democrats, that's 434 members, which means that Johnson has to have exactly 218 votes to secure that. Now, in addition to Massey, he can lose Massey and still get the votes if every single GOP member votes for Johnson. But there's been a couple other folks who have said that, hey, they might be on the fence and that Johnson has to have or give some type of concessions to them in order for them to be more comfortable with that speaker. And one of those representatives is Victoria Spartz from Indiana. And we have here from Politico the same article where Spartz appeared unmoved by Trump's endorsement too, writing on X that she understood why he backed Johnson, but adding, "We still need to get assurances that Speaker Johnson won't sell us out to the swamp." And this sentiment really uncovers a growing dynamic within the Republican Party right now, because you're starting to see two different camps form. On one hand, you have the far right conservatives that are very fiscally minded and they're very America first. This includes Sparts, but this also includes the Chip Roys of the world. This also includes the far right, like personalities and influencers like Laura Loomer and Dinesh D'Souza. They're all focused on lowering immigration. They're focused on fiscal conservatism, and they're focused on lowering the budget, lowering the deficit. On the other corner, you have this billionaire class that's been brought in and has supported Trump. This is your Elon Musks. This is your David Sachs. This is your folks that have run tech companies that are from the West, that are pro H-1B visa immigration increases, and they're going to be not wanting to do a lot of the policy changes that the far right does. So there's going to be a clash going forward into the new year. And I think we're going to start to see some of that play out in this speaker race, because Johnson's going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's going to have to contend with that wing of the party, give them concessions while also staying on Trump's good side. And right now, at least from reporting, Trump is on the side of Elon. Trump is pro increasing H-1B visas. He's pro cutting taxes and having this big tax break for the billionaire class. And so it's going to put him in a situation going forward that Mike Johnson is facing right now. And so it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see what happens there. But yeah, right now it's, like I said, it's Tuesday. The speaker race is on Friday. A lot can happen between now and then, but watch for this dynamic as we get closer and closer to the day, because things are going to start to change and things are going to start to move, and people are going to come out of the woodwork asking for certain concessions, asking for certain policy goals that they have in mind. And if Speaker Johnson doesn't commit to that, then we're going to potentially see another prolonged speaker race like we did with Kevin McCarthy. And that's something that the GOP doesn't want to see happen. That is bad for optics. It's bad for perceptions. It forces people to say, hey, the GOP can't govern. They can't even elect a Speaker of the House within their own party. How are they going to govern and fight against the Democrats and somehow enact Trump's policy goals in his vision for America going forward? So it's going to be a tricky situation. I'm excited to check it out. I'm excited to stay on top of it. And it's going to be a wild ride. So stay tuned.